Hi, guys. Welcome to the Get It Done podcast with Erin, the podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, about what they are doing, how they got to where they are, basically their business journey. Most of the people that I am talking to, um, I don't know them. I've never met them. And I try not to have any contact with them beforehand just so that I don't know too much information about them. Um, so, um, the my prayer for this podcast is that it inspires someone to get up and get the thing done that they are absolutely afraid to do. There's so many people I talk to that haven't started just because they're scared. Scared of what people may think, what people may say, what they look like when they're doing the thing. But I say, who cares? Who cares? Just do it. So, we are waiting for our guest. So this podcast is sponsored by Matilda's Corner. Um, so first off, I'm sitting outside in my backyard because I was like, okay, a 12:30 session. I'm usually in my backyard at 12:30, tanning or having lunch or something. So I was like, I might as well do the podcast back here. I'm trying to even out my 10 because it's all over the place right now. So I was like, I might as well sit and tan and do the podcast in my backyard. So featured back there, that little sign, that is Matilda's Corner. This podcast is sponsored by Matilda's Corner. Matilda's Corner is my business. Matilda's Corner, one of the avenues of Matilda's Corner is skincare. We provide all natural plant-based skincare products and services formulated by me, provided by me. I am absolutely in love with my work. I'm in love with my business. And take care of your skin. And if you need an esthetician, come check me out. I am in LA, just outside of Gardena. And we are still waiting for our 12:30 guest 3 minutes later. Let me see. Where's my phone? See where she is. Oh, wrong person. Where is it? Oh, here she is. Okay, so I have a 8-minute grace period for the podcast. So the reason why it's 8 minutes and probably should only be 5 minutes is because I have to find something to talk about for the next 8 minutes. But I believe she is here. She's here. So I'll go ahead. Her name is Melissa. I will go ahead and add her to the podcast, and she can introduce herself and let us know about. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Can you cut your camera on, please?
Let me find it.
Technical difficulties. We'll wait till she comes back. It's been such a nice few days. Ever since time change, the weather has been so good, so pretty. The birds have been chirping literally all day while the sun is up. So I have been enjoying that. Let's see. Okay, she's back.
Okay, there
you did it. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. So I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and let us know about your business.
Okay. Start now?
Mm-hmm. So we're
okay.
live.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, hello. Now you know all the fumbling. My name is Melissa Dumaz. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm in private practice in Southern California. My company is called You Help You. I'm also an author. I have a published book out there called The Love Challenge, and I have a podcast myself called The Hats Podcast. But even more than just a therapist, I am a holistic wellness healer in practitioner. So I do other services as well, such as mindfulness events, corporate wellness events, speaking engagements, Reiki. I mean, the list goes on. I'm all about all things holistic healing and wellness.
Nice. You're busy.
Busy, yes.
Okay, tell us about your first ever business venture.
Oh, my first ever business venture. Oh, that's a great question. Um, oh my goodness. I feel
Do
like
you
it goes back
remember?
to I don't. I feel like it possibly goes back to like childhood. Like,
Oh,
you know
how
how you're a
funny.
kid and you decide to like color or draw pictures. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sell
I'm gonna
these
sell this.
pictures. And
Right.
you sell
Okay,
them
so the
to
first that
friends
you
and
can
family.
remember, that you can
Yes.
recall.
That would be the first that I could recall. And then I also, naturally, being a kid and like having to do fundraisers, even though it wasn't my business, it was something that I was proud to be like, I want to get #1 sales in
Nice.
whatever that classroom or whatever it is. So always
Yep.
very much having an entrepreneur spirit and getting that excitement of like having other people interested in your business as well and what you're selling.
I love that. So how'd you get started in the business that you're doing now?
So once I went to school to become a therapist, I knew that I had a desire to have my own practice. And so it wasn't until working at a nonprofit for a lot of years that one of my sorority sisters actually was like, didn't you say you wanted your own practice? When are you going to do it? And I was like, I do. And she was like, well, when are you going to start? And it was in that moment that I realized like, I do want that. And it is time to start. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I had at the time a supervisor that was very that did a lot of micromanaging. And I knew in my early teens that I did not do well with micromanaging. And so that became the motivation for me to work towards a goal that I had set for myself a while back. And so every day after work, I would go home and I would start building my private practice
Nice.
and then created what I like to call a brand for myself. So I was able to gain a contract through an agency, which positioned me to be able to leave my full-time job, but still sustain myself financially as I build up my clientele for my private practice.
I love that. So how did it feel the day that you, or probably that week or a couple of weeks when you first left your job? Were you
I was
nervous? Were
excited.
you excited? Yeah.
No, I was more than excited. And it's so funny that this question is coming up because my husband and I were reflecting on it. He's in a position where he's considering, launching his own business. And I had to remind him that when I left my full-time job, the comfort of my full-time job, and started my private practice, he was not working. He happened to be laid off. And while he was receiving, what do you call it?
Unemployment.
Unemployment. Yep, he was receiving unemployment at that time, but I was leaving the comfort of insurance, the comfort of a 401k, all for the things that I knew that I truly desired. And I had the confidence that I could build a business. And it was truly about faith. It was me taking the leap of faith and it worked.
Because once our back is against the wall, it has to work because the things that we're
Absolutely.
doing don't work. We figure out what does work and we work that. So
Absolutely.
Congratulations. How long has it been?
Oh my goodness. I took the leap back in 2010. So it's been a while that I've been in private practice. Yeah.
Well, congratulations for
Thank
longevity. What are you most proud of today? Most grateful for today?
Ooh, I'm most grateful for being able to have a successful business, being able to have done so much work behind the scenes and in front of the scenes with clients, where I'm fortunate that I've created such a name for myself in mental health and as a therapist that my name is, in a sense, my business card, which I don't take lightly. To have a good reputation as a business owner is important to me. And while I work as a therapist and I'm somebody's therapist or a lot of people's therapist, for me, the most important piece is that customer service. Even though they're paying me for a service and I'm helping them with their mental health, I still take pride in that customer service experience because I think it's so important. And so I'm grateful to just have that attitude and that mindset.
Nice. I was going to ask you something. Oh, so how do you, manage the separation of the two as far as like being a therapist? Because I know that comes with so much weight, and then going home and being able to still be, I don't know if you're a mom, but wife and friend or whatever else roles you play.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a mom. I'm a mom of 3.
Oh, wow.
And I will say this, to rewind a little bit, we did not have children when I took that leap. So when I did leave the comforts of like having full-time insurance, we didn't have kids. So I didn't have
Right.
that, because I know that that can
It
be a
was
deciding
easier.
factor. It was a
Yeah.
lot easier because we only had our own selves to be
Yeah.
responsible for. But what is helpful for me is to have rituals that I do at the end of my day to be able to separate myself and what the work that I do as a therapist, and when I go home and show up as a wife, a mom, a friend, and all of the other hats that I wear as a woman. That's helpful for me. And then having really good boundaries with my clients, good boundaries with myself and my business. I try my best not to take a lot of work home. Like, I don't take client work home, but I do take the behind the scenes stuff, like the admin stuff. But I try to do that during the hours that the kids are at school or that they're sleeping. So that's been helpful. And then having an outlet. I'm a big fan of self-care. So there's things that I do for myself to pour back into my own cup. I enjoy working out. I enjoy attending wellness events myself, not just facilitating them. I enjoy connecting with other people in the field. And I have my own therapist.
Nice. I love that. So what is your podcast about?
So my podcast is called the Hats Podcast. It is a dear friend of mine and me. She also wears a lot of hats. She's an attorney. She's an entrepreneur, business owner, a mom, all the things, a wife. And so our podcast is a space for ambitious individuals to come in and to talk about all the many hats they wear, and then to get tips on how to manage all those hats. So we have episodes on marriage, we have episodes on being a business owner, episodes on how to set boundaries, episodes on how to get rest, episodes on work-life balance. I mean, all of these hats require tools to be able to manage them all.
Yes. And what would you say in your mind, your idea or what's the hardest thing to you about business, about managing everything all of the hats that you're wearing?
Mm-hmm. The hardest thing is being a solopreneur. Like, at some point you get to a place where you're like, I need to hire. And I'm definitely, I would say, beyond that space, rather it's an assistant, rather it's a social media manager, rather it's somebody who can figure out how to do funnels for me. Like, I'm just in that space of like, okay, I've done a lot myself to get me to this position. But now if I want to continue to grow and meet those next goals, then it's about making the decision to hire, and then trusting someone with your first baby, if you will.
Yes, that is probably the hardest thing for me. Have you started looking, or?
I have. I've started looking, and I unfortunately my first hire did not work out, which I honestly, in full transparency, that was hard for me because I have been in a position where mistakes that if you will, that I've made within my business have been things of like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work out, no big deal. But this is the first mistake that I've made that cost me financially and cost a lot of my time. So it took a lot to like grapple with that. And like, you hear business owners talks about like, oh, I made mistakes all the time and all these things, which I know is part of the journey. But when it's like your first big mistake, you're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
And so it was just simply a case of someone who oversold themselves and underdelivered.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot in the process about what that next hire experience will look like for me in the areas where I misstepped, where I was focused on building relationship, which is who I am as a therapist. Like, I build relationship with people, but I wasn't focused on being somebody's employer. And so that's where I realized I went wrong.
I was thinking about that when you were talking. I was like, it's always better to make that huge mistake in the beginning opposed to at the end, or like while you're in the middle of it. So after all these years, what has motivated you to keep going? Because you're like, you said you didn't have children. You have 3 children now. It's over 10 years now that you've been in the game. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of mistakes that has happened. So what has kept you like going? Because I know sometimes it can be like, okay, I'm over this.
Yes, it can definitely be a lot, especially during the pandemic. I think a lot of us in mental health were overloaded with the amount of people that realized they needed therapy or that were ready to start therapy. So, and then the first time in our lives being in a position where we're managing the very same thing that our clients are managing all at the same time. So that was a very difficult time. But what has kept me going is I have a big heart and I have a passion for helping other people. And I absolutely love when clients have those aha moments, when they can come in and the light bulb starts to click for them and they start to make those changes. It's like, this is why I do it. This is what makes it worth it. Or to have someone come in and to say like, you know what, this is something I've never told anybody in my life. I thought I'd go with it to my grave. And then they realize they have a safe space to be able to do that here. And not just tell it, but then to like grow and heal from it.
Release it.
No longer, I'm sorry?
They release it.
They release it, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it no longer holds them down, and the freedom they get for that, like just talking about it gives me chills. So that keeps me going. And then also continuing to grow myself, grow in my own therapy, grow it with coaching, grow with being able to offer other services that are in addition to or that are outside of therapy. So this is where I belong. It's my calling, it's my passion, and I love seeing and watching and helping people heal.
I love it. What are you most proud of in your business?
I am most proud of, I would say, the type of clients that I attract. Like, I'm a firm believer that like I'm not everybody's therapist, everybody's not my client. Like those that are for me, they find me and we work together well. So I like, it's one thing to like have this understanding of yourself and to even like try to put it out there for marketing purposes or the way that you run your business. But then when you see that the type of clients that you get are the definition of that, that makes me very proud, because it's alignment. You know, even when clients are like, oh my gosh, like I wish you were my friend, and like, wow, like I can't be their friend, I take it as a compliment because that tells me that I'm working with exactly who I'm supposed to be working with. So that makes me really proud. And seeing clients do a complete 180 from the first day they walk into my office into the day they leave, that makes me really proud.
Nice. So is it usually set up like a schedule? They get so many sessions and then it's done, or is it just that's how it's done? Okay.
No, it depends. I'm sorry. I was shaking my head as if I was saying, it depends. I have some clients that are what's called ongoing clients. So they'll come in, we'll set goals and we'll work towards those goals. And then we'll reevaluate after a certain amount of months. And sometimes they come in, they get what they need and they're done. And then I have some clients who are like, I'm doing well, but I still want a safe space just to come back once a month, just to check in. And then I also offer intensive services where they come in for a set amount of time. Yes, to your question, set amount of time. And they know that from the beginning. And once that time is up and those goals are met, then we're done. And some cases, some people will want or need more time, but usually when they know it's a set amount of time, they are intentional about doing the work in that amount of time.
Yeah. I have friends that are in therapy and they're like, I'm going to be in therapy forever, like because they feel, I guess, so much growth from it. And then I have friends that have done it and, but it was just for an amount of time. Mm-hmm. So this podcast is in hopes to inspire someone that is scared to do the thing, whatever the thing may be, mainly focusing on business. So I would hope that you would say something, I would say something, or someone that I talk to would say something that would inspire someone to just do it. So what advice do you have to her or him that is scared to make the move?
The first thing that I would that I would say, and in full transparency, this is it's something I'm going to say to them, but I'm also saying it to myself, which is if there is something that keeps coming up for you, that like this idea or this mission or this goal, that is yours to own. It keeps revisiting you for a reason, whether that's God, your higher power, whatever it is that you believe in, they are keep putting it in front of you because it's meant for you to fulfill that mission or that goal. And so whatever that thing is that's nagging you, that keeps tapping you on the shoulder, that's the thing that you should be going after, that you should be working towards.
I love it. How important do you think social media is to business?
I think it's very important. It's called social media marketing. And so it is a form of marketing. I think it's all about how you use it. If you are intentional and if you're using it to market or to build relationship, I think that's great. But if you're using it for entertainment, if you're using it to socialize with friends or with family, then that's a very separate account. And that's a very separate reason that you're there. And so it's important to know what are your intentions before you even create that account or before you even log in.
Yes. And do you think personal branding is important for business as well? Those absolutely. Are two separate. Yeah. And why?
Absolutely. Personal branding is what sets you apart. Personal branding is why Starbucks is able to charge the price that they charge for coffee versus to to manufacture, and the cost of like a coffee bean is super cheap. But what
Yes.
you're paying for is their logo. What you're paying for is their branding. Very similar concept to I saw a meme, I think around this time last year, and it was like a paper clip. But guess who made the paper clip? Tiffany did, Tiffany and Co. And so that paperclip had a hefty price tag on it because Tiffany has branded themselves to be in this luxurious lane, whereas we can go buy a paperclip for a couple of cents. But clearly, it's a paperclip that was made with 100% silver and all the things, but you're paying for their branding. So it's important to brand yourself in a way that you're setting yourself apart from your competitors, and so that your branding becomes its own marketing. Like, we can look at the Tiffany colors or even their style of jewelry and be like, oh, that's Tiffany, because it stands apart from so many of the other jewelry makers that are out there. And we could probably say that about any of like the mainstream jewelry makers, but Tiffany is the one that comes to mind.
I agree. And who is your ideal client?
So my ideal client is the ambitious individual that has a history of neglecting themselves, the ambitious individual who on the outside it looks like they have all of their ducks in the row, but when they go home at night, when they lay their head on their pillow, they know that like there's this stuff in my closet that I haven't addressed, or they know that like I'm not living up to the life that I desire. Like, I look good on the outside, but on the inside, I'm really suffering. That is my ideal client, and the person who is ready to come in and do the work.
Nice. And what have you learned from failure in business?
So I have learned to focus on the business relationship. And I think that it was even Beyonce who said something in one of her documentaries that resonated with me, and I was reminded of it in my recent business failure, which is, you can be kind, but you don't have to be nice, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm a nice person, and I see where
Naturally we are, yeah.
naturally where niceness in business can be taken advantage of. So you can be kind, but don't allow your niceness to be taken advantage of or to be seen as a weakness.
Yeah. Yes. But I think I've balanced that very well, because I'm nice. I'm the sweetest thing ever. But I learned on super early on to like stand on whatever it is that I say. And those boundaries that I have, don't go over them, because if you go over them for this person, you got to go over them for that person. And then things just get all out of hand. Is there anything that scares you about business?
I have this dream and this goal about where I want to go next. And one of the things that scares me is this idea of having to manage people. Because clearly I work for myself, and I don't have a team or a staff that I'm managing. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, in order to like scale or really go to where I want to go, I'm going to have to manage people. And I have to remind myself that while it scares me, one, because I haven't done it before, but I manage that fear by also reminding myself that when the time comes, that I will have the tools or the people surrounding me to help and to support in that, even if I can't see it now, that those things will start to come to me as I need them. So I use that as like my reminder that like not to allow fear to stop me or to hold me back.
Yeah. I have a goal to maintain business without any employees, like ever. I don't want to work with people. I mean, contracted people, okay, yes, but like to employ people, no, thank you.
It's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility.
And then because it's a never ending thing. As long as you're in business, if you're employing people, you have to have them the whole time.
Right.
So yeah, no. Nope. And I got that because, okay, so before I had to make a decision. I was a behavioral therapist before this. So I was either gonna create my own little boutique of behavioral therapists, or I was gonna do this. And my last case, and it's not really the kids, it's the parents. It was just issues. And I was just like, do I really want to deal with this as a business owner? And that's what finalized my decision. And then going into this, I was like, I don't want to employ people. Like, I don't really want to do that. So I've been sticking to it. Do you think since you've gone into business at that it has changed you as a person at all?
I think so. Absolutely. I definitely see finances very different. I think also it has helped to increase my confidence and my self-esteem to know that I built something that I can provide for my family, to know that I've gotten to a place where it is consistent. I mean, like naturally there's ebbs and flows in business as a business owner, but to be able to still be doing it at this level and for so long, like that has definitely built my confidence. And it's a reminder like that we could truly do anything that we put our mind to.
You really
Um,
can.
and also, I mean, just so many others, nuances that it has shifted and changed for me. So yeah, it's definitely changed me.
Nice. Is there anything, or what do you think most people think about you, but it's not true?
Mm, that's a great question. Oh, I know exactly what it is. A lot of people think, which Erin, you may have heard this yourself, like it falls into that category of like being the strong friend. I think that a lot of people assume that like, oh, I got it all together, or that I don't need help, or that I got it covered,
Because you're
or
the helper.
because I'm the helper, or that if I do have problems, I know how to figure it out myself. Like, like the helper needs help and the
Really?
strong friend needs strong friends or friends as well, and that the listener, me being the listener also needs someone to listen to them.
Yes, that is huge right there. The listener needs somebody to listen to.
Absolutely.
And how do you work through those situations? Do you communicate that to your friends and family, or how does that usually work out for you? Are you just like tough it up?
Sometimes, like I feel like if there's space to be able to do that, then I do. But just like anything else in life, like you get to know like who people are, and I know who are the people that are willing to create the space for me, even if it means me initiating, and even if it means me being vulnerable and saying like, no, I'm not all right, or can we take a minute? I need to talk to you, because
Yeah.
the responsibility falls on me too. I definitely don't want them to guess or to assume that I don't need help. Like I play a part in it as well, but I feel like who your friends are. Like if you're playing double dutch, when it's time to jump in, and when it's like, nope, there's no opportunity here to jump in because they're just
Yeah.
talking.
Yes.
And so that is part of it, just identifying who those players are. So, and then my husband and I, we have a solid relationship, but even more than a solid marriage, we have a really good friendship. So I know that there's a lot of things that I can talk to him about as well.
That's the best. To have a friend in your mate is
Right.
my favorite. What is one thing that you can say that you are absolutely unbeatable at in your business?
Ooh, that's a good one. What am I unbeatable at?
It's
Um,
something we have to like think about before answering.
right, right. I think I'm really good about taking like the big psychology terms and psychological phenomena and breaking it down into everyday language. Like I think sometimes professionals forget you went to school for this. You
They
got the
didn't.
master's degree in it, not the person sitting in your office or making the call who's interested in your services. And so being able to break those phenomena down into like everyday language and analogies. I love analogies. I speak analogies all day long. And I feel that is really a way that I connect with my clients and with my audience, is again using those analogies to break down these big concepts into smaller digestible bite-sized pieces.
I love that. A good question to ask a business owner.
Mm, a good question to ask a business owner is how do you keep that passion or that fire going for your business? And what would you do if the fire or the passion left? Would you reignite it, or would you do something different?
Answer the question. Business owner.
So I keep the passion going by being a forever student. Like if you've spent any time on social media, they have this thing where like it could be a theme going up, and it's like add your picture if, and then like whatever that thing is. And there was one that that circulated a while, like all psychology students add your picture. And I added my picture. I was like, I may not currently be a psychology student in college, but I am forever a psychology student because I'm always open to learn. Like things change, people change, behaviorals change. There's new models in a way in which we do our work. And so that's how I keep the passion going for me. And I truly believe that this is my calling, that this is my purpose or one of my purposes. And then if I were to lose it, how would I ignite it? I would reevaluate. I take a step back and say, like, what are the things that I'm loving right now? And what are the things that I'm not loving or that I feel burned out on? And what am I willing to release? And what am I willing to possibly shore myself up in so that I can reignite that fire? Because we have to have these honest conversations with ourselves. And especially if you are in the business of impacting other people's lives, like nobody wants a burned out therapist. Nobody wants a therapist who doesn't really want to be there. I mean, we've all been to
in
either
any field of work.
I was
I don't
gonna
want
say
to work with
any
any
field,
person that don't
right?
want to be
Who doesn't
there.
want to be, and we
The
know it.
hamburger
Like,
stand, I don't
right,
want it.
exactly. They throw the burger at you, or
Yep.
they're bagging your bags, like they don't your stuff, like they don't want to be at work. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't ask you to be I didn't tell you to get this job.
Yeah, you should have called out today, girl.
You should have called out today because you were treating me like trash, and I don't like it.
Yep. That is so real. I agree. I think it would be for me as well, like the hardest thing to do is work that I am not inspired to do. So that is one of my prayers, that God continues to place it on my heart to be in love with the work that I do, because if not, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Like I gotta find something else to do. Yeah. Okay. So I do this thing where we list 5 words. So I'll list the word. First word comes to your mind, you say it according to your word. The first thing that comes to my mind, I say, and we'll go back and forth for 5 words.
Okay.
After the airplane passes. Where I'm sitting in my backyard enjoying the sun. You're in LA, right?
I'm in my office right now in Torrance.
Oh, okay. Well, kind of LA, but the weather lately, like I'm like in love with the weather the past few days. Ever since time
it's been really
changed.
good. I'm hoping that is shifting for us.
Please. Okay. Habits.
Oh, discipline.
Work.
Balance.
Life.
Blessings.
Thank you, God.
Praise.
Amen, amen, amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Those are the words that came to our minds. I just do that for fun. How funny. A loving relationship or money. And it's kind of hard for you because I know you're married, so maybe not. We shouldn't do that. Beach days or rainy days?
Oh, beach days all day long.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day. Look, I need a house on the beach because that's how much I love
the goal.
Yeah.
Can you share a story or any advice that has had a huge impact on your business journey?
I'll share one that came up recently. I had a mentor who said to me, and this was during a time when I worked at a mental health facility. And so all of the clients there had severe mental illness, and most of them were there because they had committed some sort of crime. And instead of going to jail, they got the option to go to this mental health rehab facility. And at the time I had a client who was very challenging, very difficult to work with. And my mentor said to me, in order to work with this client, you're going to have to find something about them that you love. And so I took that, and that is the place in which I come from with any client that I work with. Like, there's something about them that I love. And of course, in the most like appropriate with boundaries intact type of way. But what it does is that it keeps my heart tender to their stories, because I've heard so many trauma stories that it could be easy to be like, oh, I heard that before. Oh, I heard that before. But it keeps my heart tender to their story because there's something about them that I love.
I love that. And could you share, or is it that what you loved about them?
So for this particular client, I loved how assertive she was. Like, she gave staff a run for their money, and she did not take their shit. But I was like,
what she said,
woman, and she's assertive, and I can respect that.
Yeah. Any good advice you've received lately?
There's a couple of them. one of them was a one of them was an audio from Instagram from Reels, and I was sharing it with my husband. We were laughing about it, and the audio said, "Does a crackhead wake up in the morning and wonder where when a crackhead wakes up in the morning and think about like where they're going to get their next high from? Do they think like, oh man, I ain't got no money, I can't get my high today? No, they go out and they do whatever the hell they have to do to get to that next high. So I want you to have crackhead level energy when it comes to going after your goals. Like wake up in the morning and don't think about, well, I don't have the money for this or I don't have the staff for that. Like go after those goals. Use crackhead energy to do so.
For real. That's I heard that, but it's been a while since I heard it. You just reminded me of it. But that is so true. Like even the birds, it's the same analogy. I would say like they get up every morning. They have to find food every day. Like
every day.
And a business owner wakes up and they're discouraged. And I'm just like, dude, like the birds gotta figure it out every day. Like get up and figure it out.
Yep, every day. That will be one. And then the other one is something that I heard recently that I just started or that I am starting this week, which was to replace 3 unhealthy habits with 3 healthy habits. And then for the next 21 days, and then also for the next 21 days to focus on eating just whole foods, no processed foods. And so I was
game
like,
changer.
I need that reset. I need that reset in my life as we are entering to spring and like the cold is thawing and we're ready to start living life again and setting some new goals. So that was really helpful.
Yeah, it depends on the month, but every month, the first 3 days, some months I do it the whole week. I just do fruits and vegetables only. But you see such a huge difference in everything, your energy, your thoughts, like your skin, your hair, everything is just different.
That mental clarity, like
yes.
There's nothing else that gives that mental clarity like eating raw food.
Yes, I agree. Is there anything that you'd like to share that we didn't go over?
One thing that I know we've heard it before, and I know that when you're in it, it's hard to believe it or to be reminded of it. But when you are setting up your business, it's helpful to talk to other people that have the type of business that you're setting up, and not for the sake of like comparison. But one thing that a woman told me, she said, when you start your private practice, give yourself 2 years. She's like, it normally takes 2 years to have a full private practice up and running, making the money that you want to make. And I'm so happy that she told me that, because it could be easy to get discouraged, whether that's in 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, but to give myself the 2, and again, like even that can ebb and flow. It may be a little more than 2, it may be under 2, but to at least have something that you could anchor yourself in so that you don't get discouraged. I found that really helpful. And then the other thing, is the money piece. Like if you're really doing something that you love and you're passionate about, the money will come.
I agree.
It will come.
Yeah, we figure out how to bring it in. And to the time piece, that I had to tell myself that as well. I gave myself 10 years. I haven't got to 10 years, but I'm like, if I can't figure this out in 10 years, then that means I need to go get a job. But I gave myself 10 years, and I've been patient through the process. And like I said, I do love and enjoy everything that I do, but it is work. And I don't want to, because I do always talk about how much I love what I'm doing and how much I enjoy it and how easy it is because I do enjoy it. But it is hard work. Like it's work, and it's sometimes it is hard. So I don't ever want to get that misunderstood when I'm talking to people or sharing whatever it is that I'm sharing. Thank you so much, Melissa. It has been a joy talking to you. How can people find you? They want to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking about life and business and how to help others improve and live the life that they want to live. So thank you for creating this space and for having me. I am most active on Instagram. You can find me there, Melissa Dumaz, my first and last name. My private on my Instagram, in my bio, you can find everything else, such as like my private practice. You can find my podcast, and in that link that's in my bio, you can find a link to my book. So all of those resources are right there. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there as well.
Thank you. I will be contacting you soon. But thanks again for joining, and you have a beautiful week. Enjoy this. Go outside for lunch. It's like so nice outside.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Episode 22, podcast 22. The time is flying. These numbers are flying. I'm still enjoying. I am always inspired to hear any business owner's story about how they got to where they are. I think she said, well, it's about 14 years now. She's still in the game. It is possible. Like whatever idea you have, whatever plan you have, put some action behind it and do the thing. And if it doesn't work out, because most times it's not going to work out exactly how we planned it, we just maneuver and we go the other way, or we take another route. But there's still, the goal is still there. So just do it. Don't forget to thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your skin. And whatever platform you're watching this on, subscribe, follow, share. If you are a business owner and you would like to share your business, I would love to hear your story. You can contact me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Erin Deal. There is a Linktree link, and I think the first or the second link is the link to subscribe to, I mean, not to subscribe, but to apply for the podcast. I think I'll be back tomorrow for another podcast 23. See you later. Bye bye. The sun is coming back now.